Well, it's the holiday season. That means a lot of family reunions, but it can also mean tough conversations with loved ones, talks about aging and death even. Our next guest, Lexington attorney Gina Ghioldi, is here to talk about the legal issues families should deal with before it's too late. And they're such tough topics, but you don't want to procrastinate.
You know, you really don't want to procrastinate. And the holidays are a great time because you're all together, and there's the opportunity to really sit down and talk about some of those taboo topics, but the topics that go to the heart of what family is all about, and that's being there for each other when times get tough. And nobody wants to think about their parents aging and needing health care or financial care or even wills for people with young children, but you need to do it, and you need to talk to your family about it.
And you mentioned even young people, so everybody should have a will, every adult.
Absolutely, and the big thing is making sure that the people you choose to partake in that will, so to speak, the people you choose as executor who's going to handle the management of your will, the people who you choose as guardians for your children or trustee for the money for your children, you want to make sure that they're on board and they're up for the job. So talk to them about it. You don't have to share the details of your will with everybody, but when you choose somebody to take a very important role for your family, you want to make sure that they know about it.
Now, obviously, there's so many fights that often arise after these estates are divvied up. I mean, should you discuss your will with those who are included in it?
It's a good idea.
Beyond that one person?
Well, it's a good idea, and you certainly can talk to who the beneficiaries are about what they're going to be getting, but I'm talking about something a little bit different, and that is really making sure that people understand you've done a will, you've thought about it very carefully, and you can put in your will things like, I took care of this child during my lifetime, so I'm leaving a certain amount to this other child instead. Remember, families can get really pulled apart if you don't have the right paperwork in place, so you're doing everybody a favor.
All right, there are other catastrophic circumstances short of death. Let's talk about living wills and healthcare proxies.
Well, absolutely. Those are one of the most important documents for people to have, particularly when they have aging parents or aunts or uncles, and it's a document that gives somebody else, usually a spouse or an adult child, the authority to make health care decisions for you if you can't. It also can, set out what it is you want in terms of extraordinary life-saving measures. People have very specific opinions about what they do want and what they don't want. And you need to make that very clear, or people aren't going to know, and the court will get involved. You don't want a judge who nobody knows and doesn't know your family to be making those kinds of decisions.
Those are healthcare decisions. What about financial decisions? We hear about power of attorney, and yet you certainly don't want someone you love to be taken advantage of by a greedy relative.
Well, and you have to be very careful about this. And a lot of times, adult children have a hard time going to their parents and saying, listen, I think you need to have a power of attorney giving me the authority to take care of your affairs. Well, what's the first thing that the parent might think? Well, do you want to take my stuff? What's this all about? But the reality is having a document in place that allows somebody to manage your affairs. You're here, but you can't take care of things yourself, or you don't want to take things yourself.
Can you set that up ahead of time where you say, if the following criteria are met, then a power of attorney kicks in?
There are two ways you can do a power of attorney, and one of them is that it springs into effect only if your doctors deem you to be incompetent or incapacitated. But you have to be careful. There's a gray area between somebody who's truly incompetent in taking care of their affairs and somebody who shouldn't be taking care of their affairs.
Very interesting. Gina Ghioldi, your website.
Ghioldilaw.com, Ghioldilaw.com, and there's a whole article right about this topic.
All right, check it out. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, the new